It's happened again. It's happened again. Tottenham Hotspur. It's happened again. It's who we are, mate. It's who we are. It's just who we are, you know, the high line. Oh, mate. I'll tell you what, I nearly got it right. I was telling everyone 4-2, wasn't I? I said on the preview video it was going to be 4-2. I knew there would be goals in this game. I said it to everyone that would listen. I said it to a bloke in Kingston earlier who stopped me. I said it to a fella at Shrek World the other day. Shout out, they're probably both watching. I said 4-2 to everyone, and it nearly was, but they got the consolation at the end. It made it look tighter than it was, but my God, am I happy with that result. Chelsea are second in the table. Chelsea are moving clear of Arsenal. Chelsea are moving well clear of Manchester City. And after the games cancelled this weekend, the Merseyside derby, the last ever one at Everton Stadium, Chelsea are closing the gap on Liverpool, league leaders. That is not something I can wholeheartedly and honestly say I thought I would be saying at this point in the season. But we're doing it, and we're doing it because of the absolute fucking firepower that we have. 4 at the lane for the second season running. Cole Palmer running riot, and the rest of the boys, oh mate, do you know what? And Spurs were actually bang up for this one, yeah? Do you know what? When they lost through the week, I was worried, because I told everyone, I'm a Nostradamus over here, I told everyone that would listen, after they pumped Man City, I said, I guarantee you, they will drop points in their next game. Then, I thought they would win. They lost. And that worried me, because the Spursy tradition is that if they win an impressive one, they drop points next time out, and if they lose one, then they probably turn up in the next one. And they did turn up today. I was actually impressed by some of Spurs's play today. What I wasn't impressed by was their fans. Pathetic, mate. All that throwing shit on the pitch every time Cole Palmer or any of the boys went to take a corner. You should literally be embarrassed of yourself, mate. And it showed in the end who had egg on their faces. They were trying to throw projectiles and whatnot every time a Chelsea player went near the crowd, and it didn't do anything. It didn't drag your boys over the line. It let your boys go 2 goals up and then slip, as 𝐒𝐂𝐑𝐈𝐁𝐄 did, and end up losing 3-2. And do you know what? When historic moments and real achievements have been made at your stadium, such as the Beyonce concert, such as 𝐒𝐔𝐁𝐄 coming over and dethroning Anthony Joshua, and well, that's pretty much all I can think of. But what I'm saying is, I doubt there was any projectiles thrown then. And to be honest, listen, all I'm saying is, if you're a Spurs fan and you do get your hand on a cup, knowing your tradition, I wouldn't be throwing it away at a Chelsea player, because you don't get your hands on those sort of things too often, do you? But either way, that was pathetic, but Chelsea's performance wasn't, so let's get into it. But before we do all that, people, welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. If you are new around here, please hit the subscribe button. Even more so than that, smash the like button on the video this second right now, because we are here to celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to talk about all of the good, none of the bad, and we don't give a fuck about any of the rest of it. And one more thing, you lot have been absolutely smashing it for me recently with the subscribes. We were on 35% of you guys that are regular watchers weren't subscribed. You got it down to 30%. You've now got it down to 28%, which means there's only 28% of you that aren't subscribed, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I reckon some of you are older viewers and you're not too used to YouTube and whatnot, so get your son in, knock on the next door neighbour's door if you ain't got one, and get one of their younger kids round or something. Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? Get them round, get them to show you how to subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Let's speak about the game itself. And this is the team sheet that we saw. It was pretty much exactly as I predicted it, barring the fact that I thought that Pedro Neto would start on the left wing, and I thought that Noni Madueke would start on the right wing. And my God, does Maresca know his football? Does Maresca know his tactics and his systems and his setups? Because to start, Jadon Sancho on the left wing was a masterclass. I'll run through it quickly. Robert Sanchez in goal. Caicedo as the inverting right back. 𝐉𝐻𝐄𝐑, 𝐉𝐻𝐒𝐇, Cucurella, Lavia and Enzo in the middle. Cole Palmer in a 10 with Pedro Neto on the right-hand side. Jadon Sancho on the left-hand side. And Nicholas Jackson through the middle. And do you know what, right? Going into the game initially, I'm looking at Tottenham's sort of injury crisis and I'm quite confident. I know that 𝐉𝐻𝐻𝐿's not playing. It's unlikely that 𝐒𝐂𝐑𝐈𝐁𝐄 will play and whatnot. And then you look at the fucking team sheet, mate. They're both in there. And they actually both played well until 𝐉𝐻𝐻𝐿, they shouldn't have risked him, really. They shouldn't have risked him. You're going to lose the game either way. But either way, I was impressed. I'm not going to make out that I wasn't impressed. I was impressed by the way that Tottenham started the game. Within a minute, right, there's a shot from Brennan Johnson. Spurs pick up on an absolute hospital pass from Sanchez to 𝐉𝐻𝐿. And if you thought that was going to be a flash in the pan, you were very, very wrong, because there were so many of them today, and we really need to speak about Robert Sanchez now. But within 5 minutes, the scoring is opened. Cucurella slips with the ball in defence. Brennan Johnson pouncing straight on it. He feeds 𝐒𝐂𝐑𝐈𝐁𝐄, who does really, really well, by the way, to get goal side of 𝐉𝐻𝐒𝐇. Now, Robert Sanchez dives out for the ball, but normally, when the ball's coming in, you dive in front of it, don't you? He dives behind 𝐉𝐻𝐒𝐇 and 𝐒𝐂𝐑𝐈𝐁𝐄. Goalkeeping wise, what are you doing? And if he had stayed and he hadn't come for the ball, I still think he would have been beaten. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt there. It's not Andre Onana's goal that he conceded yesterday, but at the same time, you've got to be doing better, especially coming off the back of a game through the week where we saw Jorgensen, my lookalike, put in an absolutely stellar performance. He was beautiful. And he performed well in the game too. Either way there, I think bad decision making from Sanchez. Seconds later, he puts the ball out for a Spurs throw-in under absolutely no pressure. So he's under no pressure, but the pressure's definitely on. I think you've noticed the way that Jorgensen had played the other day. 10 minutes in, right? This is where conspiracy theory territory starts to come into things, because Cucurella slips again and he gives away possession again. Brennan Johnson again onto it. He puts it to Kulusevski. He worms his way through one or two. Well, through one or two, past one or two, I'm not too sure. But either way, he shoots from outside the box. It's at Sanchez's near post. Could he do a little bit better? I feel like he could, but am I jumping on the hype train of just bashing him here? Because I feel like he could do a little bit better. I feel like he could. I feel like Jorgensen would have saved it. Is that harsh? You tell me. Either way, Cucurella, he issues straight over to the touchline and says, it's these boots. It's these boots. I'm slipping in them. And do you know what? As much as Jamie Carragher, who we get onto, who should never be commentating on a Chelsea game, the fella's an absolute melt. As much as he was bashing Chelsea at every single opportunity, my God, if someone said Chelsea were wearing blue, he'd say they were wearing red. It literally, oh my God. Honestly, it was awful. It was painful having to listen to him. It's painful having to listen to him anyway, isn't it? But it was painful having to listen to him for the entirety of this game, where he was just so biased. It was ridiculous. But he started complaining, saying, I don't know why Cucurella's complaining about the boots and whatnot. To be honest, once he changed the boots, he didn't really make any mistakes, Cucurella, did he? So I think there was some weight in that. But either way, I'm not going to disregard it. 17 minutes later, Cucurella comes up trumps anyway. 17 minutes later, 17 minutes in, I should say, when Cucurella puts the ball to Jadon Sancho. Now, he takes the ball on the left wing, right? He cuts inside. He he glides past 3-4 players, maybe, and he slots home an absolute beauty from outside of the box. Nothing that Fraser Foster can do about this one. And Jadon Sancho, I'm not going to keep going on about it, what the pundits and the commentary and whoever else has said about him, because he is class. And he was so good today, man. Half hour in, right? Lavia gets the ball from a quickly taken Cucurella throw-in. He finds Palmer in acres of space. No one's closing him down. He's able to drive forward. He shoots, and Fraser Foster again is called into action. He makes a good save there. He actually makes a follow-up save as well from Pedro Neto. And I've sort of gone over it here, but you know when we were 2-0 down, right? 2-0 down within 15 minutes or whatever it was. Were you ever worried? Like, boys, were you ever worried? Did you ever look at it and think, oh, well, we've thrown the game away? Because I'm going to be honest, and honest is what I always am with you lot on this channel. I wasn't fucking worried. I knew we were going to come back and win it. I knew that we had at least 4 goals in us. Even when we were 2 down, I knew we had at least 4 goals in us. So the question is, how many more do we concede? And I was kind of thinking, it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't concede again. If we do, 1 tops, but I think we've got 4 goals in us, and we very much did have. Either way, right? Seconds later, after that Fraser Foster save, Son whips in a corner, and we were lucky there because it comes off of the crossbar. Golden opportunity. Yeah, it was, that one was close, to be fair. And literally moments later, once again, Robert Sanchez, another, I was about to call it a hospital pass, it wasn't even a hospital pass, he just gives it to a Spurs player, once again, leads to a golden opportunity for 𝐒𝐂𝐇. Luckily, Robert Sanchez saves this one, but I'm not going to say redeems himself, because he shouldn't have fucking given the ball away. Now, 40 minutes in, Lavia splits the lines with a great pass to Palmer. Palmer feeds Jackson, and the Spurs defender just about gets the block on the shot, and that literally concludes the first half. Right, people, I just want to quickly take this opportunity to tell you about new partners of the channel, 𝐒𝐒𝐄𝐑. When you're in the YouTube industry like I am, there is a certain type of service that you could very much do with having on your side, and that is the service that stops you making blunders. And when I'm preparing for some of my videos, I use the website 𝐒𝐒𝐑 to use the player comparison matrix, and that helps me get a better understanding of comparing the players that I'm talking about. For example, a lot of you guys know that for every Chelsea game, I put out my preferred starting lineup, and I do look into the underlying numbers of the players I'm picking and the players that I'm comparing, and that's where 𝐒𝐒𝐑 comes in. They offer the best player comparison matrix on the internet. The website is so efficient and so easy that even I can use it. For example, when I'm picking from Chelsea's 30 to 40 odd wingers that we've got at the club, I can very easily jump onto 𝐒𝐒𝐑 and see how their stats compare. But you don't need to be a YouTuber to need to use 𝐒𝐒𝐑. You could use it for your bets when you're betting on first goal scorer and things like that. It could give you a better indication. Or you could just use it to look like a genius down the pub, and we all like to do that, don't we? So thank you very much to 𝐒𝐒𝐑 for not only helping me prepare for my videos, but also partnering up with the channel. So help support me by supporting the guys that support the channel in 𝐒𝐒𝐑. They are linked in the description for this video. Let's get back into it. Although there were 2 key talking points that we got to speak about in that first half, and that were the 2 potential sendings off. The first one was a Caicedo foul. Now, did in real time I think that it was a sending off? No. On the slow-mo, did it look worse? Yes. Did they always look worse on the slow-mo? Yes. Would I have been appealing for a sending off? Probably, if it was a Chelsea player that had that happen to them. If I'm being completely transparent, yes. But at the same time, for once, Anthony Taylor actually kind of lets us get away with it. And when I say get away with it, some of you might argue that I don't know we necessarily did get away with it. I think, you know, one of them really. One of them. Sometimes you give it, sometimes you don't. And ultimately, you know, towards the end of the second half, there was a way worse one, in my opinion, when we saw 𝐒𝐂𝐑 elbow Romeo Lavia in the face. Now, listen, I box, right? And I've been elbowed plenty of times around that area, and it fucking hurts. Like, it really does. And to be fair, I'm not saying the Caicedo challenge wouldn't hurt, but when you get elbowed there, it really hurts. Like, it does really hurt right in the cheekbone, especially my ones. Very prominent, aren't they? Handsome fella. Either way, what I'm saying is, when that happened, and when I saw the slow-mo, was I outraged? Potentially. But was I jumping out my seat going, you need to send him off? I actually wasn't, because I do think in life, karma's a bit of a thing, and, you know, you win some, you lose some. We didn't get the 𝐒𝐒𝐄𝐑𝐈, we didn't get 𝐒𝐒𝐄𝐑𝐈 sent off, I should say, and therefore, should 𝐒𝐂𝐑𝐈 have been given his marching orders? Maybe. Was I fuming that he wasn't? No, I wasn't really, because I sort of think, well, it levels itself out, doesn't it? And second half, right, despite us trailing at half-time, I was just really confident. I've got to be honest in how I feel. I was really confident. I just thought we got the better manager in the dugout. We got the better depth. We've got more ability to be able to swing games. We are so different to Pochettino's Chelsea last season, where for the most part, 3/4 of the season, we saw a trend of a worse second half. We always get better. And tactically, what Maresca says to these boys and the small changes and sometimes big changes that he may make are ones that always seem to fucking work. And it did again this time. Romeo Lavia in the first half's probably our best player, if we're being completely honest. What does Enzo Maresca do? He sacrifices him. He brings him off for Malo Gusto. But there's always method behind the madness. Why does he do it? Because 𝐒𝐒𝐑𝐈 as the inverted right back is not working as well as it has done in, matches gone by. In this one against Son. Son was getting the better of that battle. We needed the pace, we needed the legs, and therefore we needed Malo Gusto there. And then it becomes a choice of, do I keep Lavia on, the player who's playing better at this moment in time but is the less experienced man, or do I keep 𝐒𝐒𝐑𝐈 or Enzo on, potentially? Now, he made the complete right decision and was completely vindicated for keeping Enzo on, who we'll touch on, but 𝐒𝐒𝐑𝐈, even despite the fact that he wasn't having as good a game as Lavia, was the man to keep on there. He then comes into the midfield with Enzo Fernandez, and straight away, from the second half, we look way better. 56 minutes in, it is that man, Malo Gusto. He forces a save again from Fraser Forster, and we're just looking so much better attacking-wise. He's getting up the flank already. I thought he was brought on to combat Son, but actually, he's proven an attacking threat. And then 58 minutes in, right, some really good trickery from Jadon Sancho, and he's just so hard to dispossess, Jadon Sancho. And being that good on the ball and being that good a dribbler of the ball can often slow things down, but at the same time create other opportunities to arise. And what happens there is, as he stays on the ball and he's not challenged, he then dinks one through to 𝐒𝐒𝐑𝐈. Basuma comes across, brash, and fouls him inside the box. Clear-cut penalty. Anthony Taylor gives it, and as always, Cole Palmer does what he does best. He converts from the spot, and therefore he puts it to 2-2. And at this point, I know what's happening. You know what's happening. Chelsea are going to go on to fucking win this one, aren't we? 67 minutes in, right? A bizarre moment happens when we think we've played the offside. I think it's 𝐒𝐑𝐈 who's offside, right? So we sort of switch off. He doesn't go for the ball. But Son ends up running onto it, and he goes through one-on-one with Robert Sanchez. Luckily, Son misses the sitter. Tell me, would it have been allowed? I don't know if it would have been allowed, because the whole thing of, yeah, you can ignore the ball, but if you're affecting the play, which 𝐒𝐑𝐈 was, then, and that's the reason why the Chelsea players didn't track Son, then would it have been allowed? But either way, doesn't matter, because he missed a sitter. Now, 72 minutes in, Chelsea go 3-2 up, and what a move it is. And Enzo Fernandez, oh my God. This resurgence of Enzo Fernandez is literally something to behold. It's beautiful, and I am so happy it's happening. There's creators in not just the Chelsea community, in the football community, that would love to be right about stuff, and sometimes they'd like to be right about stuff at the expense of their own club's misfortune or whatever. I am so happy that I look like a complete fucking idiot when I said that Enzo Fernandez shouldn't be starting ahead of Caicedo and Lavia and whatnot. Enzo Fernandez needs to be in that starting lineup week in, week out with the way he's been playing in the last 6 weeks or so. 8 games, whatever it is, how many goals and assists, I don't even know. I don't even have the stat in front of me, and I don't need it because you lot know it on the eye test. He's been fucking phenomenal. Enzo Fernandez has been unreal. Now, we take a quick throw-in, right? Enzo Fernandez, he opts for the ball, and really he's in a tight space. It's the sort of space that a couple of months ago or whatever, we were just seeing him tackled and lose out on the ball in, but he wriggles out of that space and he continues the run. He gets the ball back outside of the foot, he puts it on. The ball is then switched. It's over with Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer off the right wing, where we're so used to seeing him last season, wriggles his way through probably, 4 or 5 men that go to him and can't get anywhere near him. He manages to get a shot off, and it's deflected. It bobbles. It bounces. Who's there? Enzo Fernandez to absolutely smash it home past Fraser Foster. And I'd criticised his shooting ability in the past. And am I ready to go back and say I was wrong the old time? I don't think I was wrong to say it at the time, but fuck it. Yeah, I was wrong. Enzo's the fucking daddy, mate. Enzo Fernandez is the man. He takes it on the half volley. He makes it 3-2. And I absolutely love this boy. He is proving so many people, including myself, wrong. Hands held up. Enzo Fernandez is now undroppable. He needs to be starting every single game. He's absolutely brilliant. And not just in the fact that he scored the goal today. His all-round play was phenomenal. His whole game was brilliant. And Enzo Fernandez is now showing Chelsea fans the Enzo Fernandez of Argentina, the Enzo Fernandez of the World Cup, the Enzo Fernandez that we saw in his first 6 months at Chelsea. And do you know what? It got even better, because 82 minutes in, we break on Spurs. And we do it from their own corner. And it's what I say every 5 minutes. Every video, you can find me say it 3 or 4 times. We are the best counter-attacking side in the Premier League. Spurs take the corner. They don't get anything on it, really. It dinks out, and it's going to Son, right? And Pedro Neto, what a terrific little player, by the way. Pedro Neto doesn't give up on it. He runs towards it. He gets the ball, and he quickly moves it on to Jadon Sancho. Now we're breaking. I think we've got 2-on-1 here by this point. I think Van der Ven, in this moment, pulls up with his hammy again, and Jadon Sancho's going, and I'm thinking, release the ball, do it quicker, do it quicker. He doesn't. He waits. He slows it down, and I'm thinking, you've messed it up a little bit there. He hasn't. He waits because Palmer runs inside. When Palmer does do it, he's fouled. He's brought down in the box. And what's that mean? It's a penalty. No need for VAR. They're both clear cut as each other. And Cole Palmer has the opportunity to win the game in this moment, right? And when you've got that opportunity, maybe you David Luiz it, yeah, against Bayern Munich. Maybe like Frank Lampard used to, you just absolutely put your foot through the ball and absolutely smash it home and don't leave any doubt. But what's he do? What's he do? Cole Palmer? Cole Pirlo. He dinks it in. He dinks it past Fraser Foster. And that just shows what a player this boy is. The confidence he has, the composure. He's just a legend in the making, Cole Palmer, isn't he? He's into double digits now for the season. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And had it have ended 4-2, I'd have looked like Nostradamus, wouldn't I? I said Cole Palmer would score a penalty. I said that Spurs would pre-take the lead. I said it would be 4-2, but they do get a consolation. I would say it made it a nervy finish, but it didn't really, did it? Because it didn't do anything. They got a consolation, and most of their fans had left their ground already. So, it is what it is. But ultimately, so happy with that game, man. So happy with that game. Not happy with the selection of commentary on it. Jamie Carragher should not be allowed to commentate on teams that he has a clear bias against. You shouldn't let him on commentary. You shouldn't really let him on commentary in general, because he's shit, to be honest, at commentary. A little bit like he was at football. But, no, in all seriousness, like, the over-the-top criticism of the Cucurella slip, it's like, mate, were you that critical of Gerrard's slip? Were you? I don't think you were. Were you even on the pitch that day? No, because you were shit and you were retired by then and had nowhere near the same longevity as Steven Gerrard. And when you were completely overcritical of Cole Palmer's miss on a wet and windy surface where, okay, he miskicks the ball. Darwin Núñez does that week in, week out, game in, game out. But you don't single that out, do you? You don't single it out. So much begging for Caicedo to be sent off, but then nowhere near the same amount of begging for 𝐒𝐂𝐑𝐈𝐁𝐄 to be sent off for the elbow. Mate, it's so blatant. It's so obvious. At least I put my heart on my sleeve and admit that I don't like Carragher. You try and make out like you don't even mind Chelsea. You, mate, are a complete fucking idiot. Enzo Fernandez, man of the match for me. Absolutely stellar performance. I thought he was brilliant today. But speaking of brilliant, man, Pedro Neto, he's worth every penny we spent on him, isn't he? Like, I thought he was so good today. He tries so hard. He works his socks off for the team. And that consistency in applying himself and chasing down everything is ultimately what leads to so many of our opportunities. And who wants to hear something funny, right? Get ready for this one. At the end of this season, we get Jadon Sancho for 25 million. Hold on, I'm not done. From the team that paid us 50 odd million for Mason Mount. Well, at least they got Dan Ashworth in there to sort the transfers. Oh, no, they ain't, have they? Well, anyway, it's not about Man United today. It's about Chelsea. Now, listen, I said that I might mutter the words title charge or title challenge. Am I going to do it? I don't know, man. I don't want to go over the top because I'm going to be honest. The defence does look shaky. And I have seen Liverpool at least challenge for the title. I can't remember how many they conceded in that season behind closed doors when they won it. It doesn't really officially count. But I can't remember how many they conceded. But I've seen them challenge for titles when they've just outscored their opponents and blasted their way past opponents. But was the defence as shaky as ours? I'm not sure. Did they have the same sort of firepower at that moment in time than we did? You might say so. Some might argue it. I don't know. But let's have a quick little look at the Premier League table right now, because without Liverpool playing this weekend, we're obviously in such a favourable position, man. We are now 2 points clear of Arsenal. The goal difference is better than Arsenal. Oh my God, we're fucking 4 points clear of Man City. Spurs are in 11th. That's always good to see. Man United in 13th. That's always good to see. Oh God, this is good stuff. This is what dreams are made of, mate. Brentford at home next time out, and by that point we could be moving even further clear. And you look at our games now, man. Brentford, Everton, Fulham, Ipswich, Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves, all the way until the 25th of January when we play Man City. On the way we're playing, man, you've got to make us a favourite in those games. Now, when will I mutter, whatever it is, the words title challenge? Ultimately, when we beat one of the big boys, when we beat a Liverpool, when we beat a City, when we beat an Arsenal, that's when I'll do it. But at the moment, we've had the Aston Villa test, the Spurs test, the Newcastle test, those teams that we would normally be competing in and around maybe last season, maybe not the season before. And do you know what? We have done fucking well in those tests, man. Enzo Maresca is the absolute daddy. He has done a phenomenal job so far at Chelsea Football Club, and I'm so happy to have him. At the time, eyebrows were raised over the sacking of Pochettino, and that sacking's been vindicated completely. I think he's an elite manager in the making, and do you know what? That making and moulding of that elite manager will happen a lot sooner than the whole Arteta one did, because I think he's already proven himself to be one of Pep's best disciples. Better than Ten Hag, better than Arteta. Who else we got? Can't think of any, so I suppose that's the end of the video. People, hit the like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Joey and Josh, mine and Josh's new podcast. We dropped a true crime episode today. I'm going to link that in the description. If you're into your true crime, you'll like that one, and I will see you all in the next one.